Hi, Break Free with Dr. Cheri. How can you break free and triumph after trauma? Tragedy hits all of us, and its volatile impact can hijack the happiness and joy that may only seem to be a dream that once was. At times, the effects of these negative ramifications can bury us alive. Then we hear of those few who seem to rise above the rubble and misery and literally make lemonade out of lemons. They are known as heroes and heroines who have an extra bit of genius, magic, or just plain luck. As a result, though, we gravitate around them to hear their stories and almost that a bit of their luck is contagious and will land on our shoulders. We crave the change that occurs, forgetting on the path to make our dreams come true. We love the fairy tales of living happily ever after, and yet, what is missed is the reality that this extraordinary recovery is possible for all of us, as the formula of resolving grief and loss is more ordinary than appears. Unfortunately, we've lost sight of what is actually possible. As a society, we have become informational mongers. As we turn on the TV or flip through our social medias, we are bombarded with sensationalistic stories of tragedies and that just end in despair. And we come to believe that that is all there is. We're brainwashed and forget that there are stories of triumph and dreams that do come true, and people do live happily ever after more often than not. In my 35-year career as a therapist and now life mastery coach, I've witnessed the opposite of what the propaganda of the media show. I walked side by side of one hero after another as they've slaved their dragons, untethered from slavery, rose from the grave of defeat, to be crowned with dignity and joy. Through these experiences of faith and endurance, I gained a belief, knowing that the path of triumph over trauma manifests, and when broken down into phases, can be accomplished by all of us in transformational steps. Hence, 7 steps to root, rebound, and rise. In the world of psychology, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the DSM-5, was created for mental health professionals, put a name and a description to emotional and mental pain and suffering. Yet, as more and more research is showing, we are human beings, and as human beings, we're more complex than a label can offer. In fact, some suggest that if we categorize mental illness down to one label, all suffering could be unresolved grief. Then these percolating emotions transmute to trauma of all sorts. We get an understanding of how we can transform our misery to joy. Hence, we heal. This healing occurs from the inside out, not from the outside in. Depending on where we're at in addressing our pain and misery, we may choose the resources and modalities of outside in to strengthen and inform us on where we're at so we can then start the inside out healing. So here's the key to evolving out of the prison of depression and anxiety to peace and joy. You too can achieve life mastery by taking the steps to 1, reawaken, 1 breath at a time. 2, rejuvenate as you embrace the duality of life and recognize the growth from opposition. 3, realize the beauty of your autonomy. 4, renew the love within your heart. 5, revive your voice and choice. 6, restore your discernment and intuitive knowing. 7, resurrect your inspiration as you rise to being your ideal self, living your dream come true, fairytale life, because you triumphed over trauma after all. The key to breaking free from the grip of pain and misery is capturing those aha moments that occur as we take charge of our own healing. The whisperings from within offer aha revelations on how to root, rebound, and rise from the darkest of times to the brilliant light we entered the world into being. As we escape the trappings of our past trauma, we rise above them. Our authentic self, which I call the ideal self, enters this world unscathed, journeys as an observer, student, master, and inner healer. This does not mean we miss the messiness of life, because life is about opposition in all things. We all have challenges, trials, and tribulations. Yet as we mature through the 7 steps, we rediscover our ideal self and are no longer held hostage by pain and misery of trauma. We can be free as we learn to gain the lessons, heal from the inside out, embrace the power of love. If you too are ready to triumph over trauma, take on the I can attitude. I create and achieve now. Root, rebound, and rise, and you too can break free, triumph over trauma.